Hey folks, welcome to the second installment on the WPL Land Cruiser build. In this episode here, I would like to finish the assembly on the body. I've done a few little bits of painting. I really can't do much right now because it's a bit chilly outside, but I was able to paint the upper lip in chrome like the standard Land Cruiser would have. I also shot the interior in brown, which I've basically seen every single Land Cruiser having. I'm sure there are variations on the interior colors, but brown seems to be pretty common. So let's just slot in that dash, and it should just snaps right into place there. This is a right-hand drive vehicle. The next thing I'm going to do is paint all of the window surround. This is usually rubber gaskets, so we'll paint all that. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint around this here. Now, I have seen some Land Cruisers where this is body color, but I think in black it'll look pretty nice, and it should give a bit of a contrast to the brown interior. And then I forgot to paint the insert on the dash, so we'll paint this area here in black as well. So let's get masking. All right, we masked off around the windows. I didn't do around the top because that's a nice sharp edge, so the paintbrush should follow that pretty nicely. We've got the molding down the side, and then we have the front window trim. Just occurred to me that I forgot the rear window. All right, painted that black. It is matte black, it's just not dry yet. And then you can see I painted all the trim. And let's peel it off because that's always fun to watch. Plus this way you can see how much I screwed up. No, it looks good actually. So this is a Tamiya flexible tape. So that looks pretty good. This is all done in Testors flat black. This is okay. That's a little bummer. Why is it like that? Well, wait till it dries so we can touch it up a little. Oh, I see. Some of the paint went into the channel, some didn't. That we can touch up with a paint pen. Okay, that's easy. So I suspect the same thing happened back here. Oh, that's just a lot better. Okay, we'll peel these off as well. Oh, those look really good. Oh, very nice. That looks good. We added some additional moldings here. This is just a Sharpie. You know, it gave it, it's not actually showing particularly well, but you can see there's a little separation line between the two. Actually looks pretty good. Okay, we're gonna wait for the window area to dry before we touch that up. But since we're here, I would like to do some panel lines. And for that, I'm gonna use a extra small Faber-Castell artist pen. And I use these quite often. You just kind of jam it in the little gap right there. It is very, very important you let this dry because this is water-based and it'll be wet and smeary for a couple hours. All right, so let's install the roof rack. Now, unfortunately, these were actually broken off the sprue, so I don't entirely know which way to put them on, because there is a right and a left. Looking at the front of it, you can see that this actually does have a little slant to it. So I'm assuming it'll go on this side. Let's just kind of take a look and see. Yeah, that actually lines up pretty well. Okay, roof rack is on. Next, we need to put on all the wipers. So we have 4 wipers. They all appear to be identical. So let's just take off 3 of them. One. So we'll tilt that up just slightly. And then one in the back right there. These seem to all press in pretty nicely as well, but I'm going to use a little bit of glue on them anyway, just on the inside. Now I'm at the part where I wanted to fix the hood because there was that little weird kind of snapping sound it was making, but then I realized that it ends up staying open. So if I prevent that snapping from occurring, then it'll just close. So it's kind of a conundrum. I think since I'm not going to paint the car, I'm just going to leave it there because it does make it a little bit easier to access whatever you have to access in here and leave the hood open. At this point, it wants us to reinstall the window. So we've done that yesterday. I'll go ahead and do that and pop the interior in. When installing the back window, there's a little, you can see it here, there's a little clip right there, a little tab. You want to push the window up and then kind of bend the body downward a little bit and get that tab to snap in there, and that will securely lock the back part of the window. Now there are some decals for the front marker, for the front side markers, but I really don't like these. I think they're going to look kind of cheap. So the plan is to paint the side markers here, the turn signals in the bumper, perhaps these are parking lights, and the repeaters on the side with one coat of, let's see what this is, turn signal amber by testers and back it up with a little bit of orange. Well, these came out pretty good. A little bit of a metallic, you can see that in there. That's just that amber color backed with orange and red. And then the taillight lenses had a little bit of embossing on it, so I just went over that with some Sharpie. And here are the front marker lights. I think they look pretty good. And there's the repeaters. So let's go ahead and install these. We'll put them on the grill first. Flush cutters here. Nice. So that is in. I keep looking at these little headlight squirters and I'm like, what is that stupid thing I forgot to cut off? And it's not. It's supposed to be there. I think it's supposed to be black, but we're beyond that now. So same thing over here. She looks pretty good. Let's put the front parking light on. Now this is going to be a little bit interesting. This clip here is smaller than that clip. So it should only fit in one direction. Insert the grill. Was getting caught right there at that pin. So if I push the headlight in and kind of twist it down, it goes right in. And there's two little clips down here, one there and one there. So if we push a little bit harder, it should seat perfectly. And it does. Cool. That chrome really helped. Our repeater will just pop in here very easily. Cool. That's right in. All right, so we'll paint the reverse light lens area. Line up the bottom, and that should just pop right in. This is really beginning to look kind of like a model kit. This thing is really exceptionally well done. And I believe we need to put some mirrors on the car. Now this section right here is what tells you where the taillights go, the door handles, side markers. They're calling that the fog lamp. I don't believe that's what that should be called. Okay, let's throw the mirrors and the door handles on. Note that there are little keyholes, okay, and there's two of each of these, so you do want to put them in correctly. Now, first things first. Oh, those are orange. Cool. The door handles really should be body color, and I knew that, but the thing is, this is not really white, so that's going to be kind of a pain. But we'll just put these in with the lock cylinder toward the rear of the car. All right. Okay, so that's one. So we have the right and the left mirrors, and here is something super cool. The mirror itself inside is not like a piece of chrome plated plastic or something. It is a piece of aluminum. Okay, so you have to glue these suckers on then. Dab a super glue, like that. Wow, look at that. And we will just drop it in. To install these, should be pretty straightforward. That's in. Oh, there it goes. That one clicked in nicely. So the front bumper is held on with two number 2 screws, just one there and one there. The rear bumper, and that one is held on with 3 of the number 2 screws. And that also, yeah, that actually looks really easy to do. And what's kind of cool is that the side of it just presses into these little holes. And that'll be really, really a good way to hold it in place. Pop on the snorkel, and then we'll deal with the rear tire. So it should go 1, 2, 3. One number 1 screw through there, and then there's this little bracket here on the back, and I will assume that it somehow oh, there it goes, right there. Very straightforward. However, I've done this backward. That goes on, then the tire goes on. Here's the license plate mount. We'll just put a sticker on it right there. This will remind me what model it is. All right. So perhaps I should have put this on first. Live and learn. Now I'm going to do something out of order here. I'm going to put the running boards on before I mount it to the chassis because I don't have the trans for this truck yet. So if you put the running boards on, I suspect that they'll get in the way of these drop chassis mounts. For the running boards, they are a little bit different left and right. The running boards are installed with the number 1 screw, and there's no way to install them on the wrong side because you can see that they fit the body very nicely in these corners. The next bit will be to install the body onto the chassis, and I've gone freehand here. Because I wanted to show a couple of these pieces. These are going to go directly underneath the body to help secure it onto the chassis. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then show you how it comes out. Couple of things. Number 1, you see right here where it shows you installing the front bumper when you're putting the body on? Yeah, you should do that. There's no way to actually install the front bumper and then put the body on because there's 2 mounts that the chassis has to line up with and the bumper is simply in the way. So my mistake. Wait till later. More importantly, you see this little black piece right here? It's this piece here in the corner I was wondering what they were. So there's two of them. These are light blockers. Underneath them, you would see the backside of the headlight. And these are here so that when you have the headlights installed, if you so choose, that they won't create a big white spot here on the ground. That is exceptionally thoughtful for WPL to do. I wanted to mention that the kit comes with these springs as well. These have a lower spring rate, and this will allow the body to sit a little bit lower than it would on the standard C14 or C24 to make the truck look a little bit more realistic. Unlike what mine's doing right now. You've also got these two pieces. This is the servo retainer, and this piece is not used. Now, before I wrap this video up, I did want to go over the parts I did not use. So you have this very slick looking front bull bar, which I talked about earlier. There are a complete separate set of lenses, and this is the part I wasn't entirely aware of. So you've got these two lenses there. More importantly, you've got these 4 square lenses back here and these corner marker lenses, and those would go right into here. So you would have the ability to run 4 headlights versus the 2 on the car that it currently has. So that's very cool. You've got these bars here, which I believe snap on here, and then this little peg would peg in right there. This little guy here, Usually I use one of these little, I think they're called spudgers. You use it to pry apart. So for example, use the pry apart panels. If I had to get the back bumper off, I would wedge that in here and pry it down, because this would not damage the surrounding plastic, unlike a metal screwdriver, which would. So this is another very cool piece. Here we've got the roof rack with a ladder at the rear. That's neat. So this would slot into right there. This would go in place of the car's current roof rack right up here. And since I didn't really screw any of this down, I can very easily change it. Here we have a series of 5 spotlights. How cool is that? So you could make these operate. These are 3mm LEDs that you could put in there. These would go right there. Pretty easy to see other people on YouTube that have assembled this front end, because I think this is definitely the more desired front end and roof rack and all that stuff, which would go on a vehicle designed for off-roading like this toy would be. Again, my truck's a bit high. Should be sitting right about here, which gives it a much better look. So instead of dealing with this chassis here, which is far too overbuilt, I have ordered a C54-1 to put this body on. So probably in a couple weeks I'll have that, and then we can take this little guy running. I wouldn't mind installing the headlights, side marker. This is a repeater, of course. The repeater, and then here at the rear, the taillights. You can do reverse lights and amber turn signals. I don't know if I have it in me to do that. That pretty much ends this video. I mean, the body is really exceptional. Really nicely done. I like that I did the brown interior because it does offset the color a little bit instead of giving it all black with the black molding and the black interior. If anybody is interested in this body, there is a link in the description to the WPL website, and I've used them many times to purchase my products, and they're really nice to work with. And more importantly, they package everything really nicely. I've never received anything damaged or with a box torn open, which has happened before, unfortunately. Not through WPL, but other vendors. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.